Hey, thanks for stopping by. Robert Kofed with Computer Creations, and today I wanted to give you my first impressions of this Nova Plus 3580 watt RF tube laser. This is my 5th Thunder laser, and just full disclosure, I am completely obligated for the full amount of this laser. Thunder didn't just send me this laser. They have no influence on what I'm saying. What I will tell you is that if I didn't think Thunder was the best laser company, this wouldn't have been number 5. It's taken me since 2020 when I started buying Thunder lasers. I've had 5 Thunders so far, and I will list them for you up here. And my business has grown along with the types of lasers that I've purchased from Thunder. So I've got a unique perspective, primarily because I had the 35100 watt glass tube laser that I sold to a good friend of mine, and purchased this one. And what I thought I'd do is I would just share kind of my initial thoughts on the differences between what I've seen between my 35100 glass tube laser and this one. Now, I haven't had this a ton of time. I've done several things with it, but I've had a request. A number of people have reached out that are interested in this laser, and they kind of want to know what I think about it and you know, what my experience has been. And so delivered it. It was fine. There was no damage in any way, and got it set up. It pretty much fit right where the old one was, except I don't have a chiller in this particular case because it's an RF tube laser. And so got it hooked up. On my old 35100 watt, I had an 8-inch fan that I sold with my glass tube laser. And I thought to myself, you know what, I'm not going to buy another 8-inch fan until I see if the provided 6-inch inline fan is going to be adequate enough. And so I hooked it up, pretty much everything stock. The only thing that I've done is I've plumbed in my external air, which I am a big proponent of. I believe it gives you a lot cleaner and better cuts. So it's literally just plugging the 1/4-inch air tube into the back of the laser, and that's all there is to it. So I'm not connected to the air pump that Thunder provides. And what I tell you, I've been very pleasantly surprised by how well it cuts. I did some 3/8 material testing cards, and what I will tell you is that it cuts this 3/8 birch plywood a little bit faster than my 100 watt tube did. I'm right around that 16 millimeters a second at 80% power to cut 3/8 ply, and it's a very clean cut. Like I said, this is straight off the laser. Of course, I use a lot of true flat, and in that particular case, it's considerably quicker than my 100 watt. I'm cutting this 1/8 true flat at about 47 millimeters a second at 80% power, so that's moving right along. I've had a tumbler order, so I engraved some tumblers. Did a great job on that. I used just the default settings that were provided in the material library that you can download off of their website. I started there, and it was perfect. It was just right. I also I do quite a bit of granite work, so I was a little nervous about how this was going to perform from a granite perspective, but it turned out beautifully. I used the settings that they provided. Again, I had settings for granite in my glass tube, but with it being an RF tube laser, the settings were quite different, and I'm really glad that I had the ability to refer to those settings that they provided in the material library for this laser. And so shout out to the techs that spend all the time testing to be able to provide those settings, so we don't have to spend so much time dialing that stuff in. So the granite work was great. The other thing is that I did buy some extra lenses. They do have a little lens holder that's for sale on their site. I got the 1.5-inch lens and the 4-inch lens. So I've got 3 different lenses for this setup. They've got a really nice little holder for it. It's all magnetic, so it just stays there. It's all dust protected. Love that. Yes, it's been really, so far it's been everything I'd hoped. There hasn't been anything, there's been no issues. It connected right away with light burn. Would I like to see the controller that they have on the Bolt series on the Nova series? No doubt about that. I feel that the controller that they have on the Bolt series, there's a lot more options there that you don't find on the Nova series, and I'm hoping at some point in time that will change. But that would be my only complaint, I guess you would say, is if I had my druthers, I'd love to see the controller that they have on the Bolt series on the Nova series. And the other thing that I will tell you is that they've incorporated the air gauge, so you know you can adjust your air on the fly. One thing I will tell you that I learned the hard way the other day, I was doing one of these granite engravings and got about halfway through, and I was fiddling with the low volume air, and it dropped below 0.03, which is the threshold that they've got set, and it shut off the machine just like that. One thing you got to keep in mind, if it does that, when you start it back up, it doesn't pick up right where it left off. You're starting over again. So if this was a critical piece, it would have been a problem. So just remember, you know, don't be necessarily messing with your air pressure down around the threshold, because if it drops below the threshold, your machine will shut off and it won't remember where it was when it did. So just keep that in mind. I think that's the only gotcha that I've found out so far. Other than that, it's been an absolute beautiful machine. I'm looking forward to doing many more projects with it. And now that I've got it here, I've used it a little bit. To be honest with you, I was a little nervous about it because my 35 100 watt has been a workhorse for the last 4 years. It just has never let me down. It's been a fantastic machine. And anytime you're getting something new, you're going, is it gonna be as good? And in all honesty, based on what I've seen so far, I think it's just a little bit better. It's more powerful, first of all. You don't have a chiller. The only thing that I will say is it's a little bit noisier. And I think the reason being it's a little noisier is you've got two big fans back there that keep that metal tube cooled off because you don't have a chiller. And so it's a little bit noisier than the older one was when the chiller was running. And but that's really the only difference I've noticed, other than the 80 watt RF tube is definitely got a little bit more horsepower than my 100 watt glass tube. The beauty of this one is I can go all the way down to 1%. Matter of fact, this granite engraving was engraved at 4% power. And so with a glass tube, I would never be able to do that because your cutoff can be down around 8, 10, 12% depending on the tube. So that worked out real well. Other than that, like I said, I think it's been great. And hope this helps. Like I said, if you've got any questions about this machine, please reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you about it. Look for many more videos just on the different projects that I'm going to be doing. And if you've got any suggestions or you want to hear more specifics about this machine at all, please put that in the comments. That's what it's all about. I know when I'm looking to buy something, I do just as much research as anybody else. And I love it when they kind of cover some of the things that I want to know about. So if there's something you need, put it in the comments and I can address it. And we'll go from there. Really appreciate you guys watching. Until next time, thanks and have a great day.